Hello, in this video, I'm going to be showing how you can create your own VBA by saving your history. So in a previous video, the link should appear on the right of the video, this video, I showed how to write, or I don't know if I showed how to write, but then basically wrote a VBA script which calculates the field flatness of the fundamental mode of analytical, so the Tesla cavity, basically. But then you could also create your VBA by saving your history list. Now, why would you want to do that? For example, let's say you have a complex model. I mean, this is not very complex, and then I'll explain the reason why. You have a complex model that you would like to replicate and replicate as part of maybe some other complex models. You want to just copy the model and then change the variables, but then maybe you want to add it to some other complex system, and then you do not want to copy it and import it as a project, but then you want to actually let it exist in that project. Why would you want to do this? For example, now let's see, I think I should have an example of an assembly. Yes, so for example, this assembly is comprised of different other sub projects, and then what you see is that if I wanted to edit this cavity, so the cavity fundamental power couplers and also the higher order mode couplers. So if I wanted to edit the cavity, then I would click on this, and then this would take me to the, okay, I think I should press escape. So if I should double click on this, this would take me to an external project. So I have to edit from the external project, and then um, before I can, and then the update is reflected here by doing parameter update. However, if I wanted to perform an optimization on this assembly, then I do not have access to the variables from the external project, so they are not here. So this is one case where you would want to apply this. If I had a macro create this geometry, then I could just include the variables here and then run the macro, and then it creates this geometry, and then I now have access. I would have access to the variables in this project for optimization directly inside of this project. So that's one use case for this kind of where you would need this. And then another might just be where you just need an easy way instead of copying and reading, just an easy way to create your complex geometries, or it could even be a simple geometry that you want to use over and over again. So in this example, I'm going to be showing you how to save this, and then I'm also going to be telling you to be careful about as you use this feature. So this is the history list, and then if you should click on more, then you have access to this option. So you could copy you could actually the history list, you could paste. So that's another way. You could just go here and then copy the whole this history list, and then go to a new project and paste it. And yes, you could also move actions to the button today is the macro. So if I should click on this, then I could write the name. Let's say I call this FPC, and then make sure to click make globally available, otherwise it's only available in this project, but I would not save it. And this is one thing you should be careful of. If I should save it this way, then it's only going to save this because this is the only history that selected. So be careful to, or take note to select everything, or at least the parts of the history that you want to save. So I'll click on the first and then go to press my button, and then click on the last element. So I want to save everything, and then I go to macro, and then I can now click FPC, then make globally available. Okay, I already saved the macro before, so I could choose to overwrite it. So I'm going to overwrite it, and then it opens the macro. So you could this just basically creates a VBA of yeah, all your actions, and then you can see depending how long your history is, that's also the length of your macro. So you could go ahead and close this and close this here. Now this is CST 2022, and then I could actually access this macro also in 2023 version. So now I think it should also be available in maybe 2021 and 2020 version. So I go ahead in 2023, and then currently if I should go to macros, I can't see the old one. This is the old one that I already created, so that's why I can access it. But usually when you save the macros, you would not see it in already open project. So you have to close your project and then go ahead and open it again. So when opening the macro is not available, I think I have to demonstrate that. So I'm going to save this again as 2. So I go to history list, I select everything on a here to macros, and then I save this as fpc2, make globally available, and yes. So I could close out of this and then go to CST 2023, and then when I open it, I do it until I close this project and open it again. Then I can see fpc2. Now, when I run this, another thing you could do is already import the variables that are necessary, right? Or you could create it. Since this is a new project, you could already create the variables, and that's one thing you should note, not the variables that you use for your right? So you could import it and then rewrite it, but then if you don't do that, then once you try to create it, then it opens the dialog boxes. So I want a radius of 45. My outer radius, I think I would use let me see, 45 too. I hope this doesn't give any error. Then offset, I think I'll use 12. Then the height, I'll use 300. And then the inside radius maybe 23. There you. Okay, so I have a problem. I wanted to do it so I not have this, and I have this problem, which I wanted to address later, but then since I have it, I'm going to address it now. So um, also be careful to make your geometries. Now you see I have a blend in my original drawing, which is macro. So I have this blend here, and then it's causing it's let's see. So I have the blend and nicely smooth out and all the features in this geometry, and then it's causing a problem here because some of these either one or two of these values actually do not result in a valid geometry. So you see the error that I had. I wanted to avoid it, then put the variable values that I know would give an error, then I would have this error. But then I think the one to change should be R out. So let's say I make this 34, and then I should, now I can't even update it automatically. So what I have to do is I have to delete this and run it again. So I'm going to delete everything here. So that's also one downside of it. Now I can't, let's see it, I can't do a parameter update. Let's see, 11. No, that's not working. So if I should go to the history list, is also one thing you should note. It doesn't appear, so probably it's a bug on this was designed that. So in this case, I mean, the most important thing to do is to avoid this problem, which is why you make your geometry as simple as possible and leave the extra so for example your bending and all the other tiny details. So just make your model as a block, and yeah, then you most likely would not run into these errors if you're even yeah, no bool. I think just do only the necessary booleans. Do you want to, yes, I want to delete the compositor with this. I already have this port. I'll just delete the port. I'm going to try to run the macro again with this new variable. So if I should click on this, yes. So you see what the problem was. The problem initially was this blend. So that's also the keep model symbol if you say that macro. So yeah, that's it. And then from here you could let's see, you could, let's say, change this to 100, and then you could update it parametrically. If a component does not exist, oh, I see. In the history list, I think I have to delete this. So yeah, these are some problems that you might run. Okay, yeah, just run this and then yeah, execute my macro. So these are some of the things you need to take into consideration when using this feature in CST. You might run into like so many problems, except you keep your geometries very simple, or some they would create that they would always result in valid geometry. So I could change this to 20 or 10, and then I parametrically update it, and then you have that. And so that is it for using this. And then another problem I would show now, for example, for me it's important that create the kind of tree. So in CST you just have the ability to create the half cell and then from there build your multi-cell cavity. And then for me it's like every time I either have to copy a multi-cell project or I import it or build it from scratch. But then one other useful feature would have been to save this from the history list. So for example, I go to this, let's say, but say if I should save this, let's say macro, I've already saved it before, but I'll save it again and make globally available. Then okay, it already exists, yes, but I want to overwrite it. So if I should go to this, I'm going to delete okay, I'm going to leave this here and then try to use the macro. So I'm not saving it to matter, so you have to close this project and open it again. So if I should go to this macro and then click it, it gives a problem, right? And then it says that the identifier is already in use. It shows you the line which is already in use. So this, I think, I mean, my best guess is that this is related to CST already having these string names as like protected. I mean, this is my best guess. So it's saying this identifier is already in use, which is also what happened when I try to let a. So for my variable names, I have big A, small a. So I can't use just A because the name is already in use in CST's code. Or I think that's what I suspect. So this makes it not very useful. I mean, not very useful for me. But then it would take an extra step to the cavity to create the macro cavity. Now I could jump into the macro and edit it. So I could go into edit, move, and delete, and big macro. Then I go my which is end cell. So I go to E. Where is E? E before F, yes. I go here and then look for the line that is giving the error and then change this variable name. So I could change the variable names, all of it, and then have to modify the rest of the file basically. So it takes an extra step to actually get this working for cavity. So I think it's something that you also have to bear in mind that it's not sometimes it may not really work for some kind of models if they are using if it's already if because basically this is just another VBA if it's going to be using a different name, although probably it might be something um if you think it's another reason, maybe let me know and maybe let me know how to fix it. But then currently I suspect that this has to do with these names. I mean, as it wrote also in the error being protected, actually they should fix it. I'm not going to change them now. You could try it out yourself. And yes, that's it for the video. And yeah, some things you to take note of, and then also know that you could save your history and just have it run from the click of a few buttons, two buttons. Okay, so that's it for this video, and yeah.